bring in Jenny Horne. Let's talk some earnings. We've got some action in earnings. All right.
We do have some action in earnings.
Expedia, you want to start there? Big crash?
Expedia, I was more hopeful about all things. I liked the snacking component of this conversation, but we can start with Expedia, I guess. Okay, so Expedia, yeah, things are all over the place. I will say that these companies are like we not really a great barometer for like travel as much as you'd think. Like they're sort of a monopoly. So I kind of feel like what I see from this company is there is some degree of mismanagement. So they did actually see revenue rise 10% year over year. Net income also did surge by 127% compared to their fiscal 2022 year. Adjusted EBITDA rose 14% also with margin expansion. But they did also announce that overall they saw significant growth and operational success. We did see that this is the world's second largest company, in terms of these online travel agencies. I mean, it has so many names under its brand. But their CEO highlighted the fact that they've seen some strategic positioning now for growth here. It's focusing on overall customer acquisition and just continuing to grow as far as their product and partnership innovation. They also did say, as far as their financial achievements, this was the highest ever full year and fourth quarter revenue, both rising. And again, EBITDA also was up 14%. However, Expedia hasn't been the same degree of performer as some of the hotel stocks or even the cruise line. So it's a little bit confusing to me because this is a company that's then powering a lot of the tourism and the positivity trends that we see in that space. That's what's interesting about these OTAs. They perform on their own tandem, you know?
Yeah, the stock's getting hammered right now.
Mm-hmm. On good results. I mean, they grew pretty significantly.
So what's the market got a problem with?
I think it's difficult to say. I would say the fact that they did hint some degree of potential, it was a more muted earnings call as far as the CEO, where he was basically like, yeah, we see a lot of growth. This was a great quarter, but I feel like this has to be a show me story, not just a tell me story.
Right.
So actually a lot like yesterday, what we heard from the PayPal CEO, who was like, yeah, we had a really great quarter. Just wasn't enough.
Well, that's kind of even more appropriate because the new PayPal CEO has been kind of awkwardly received by the market, and now their CEO transition, which was kind of a shocker too, is going to, I guess, kind of bring into question how they're going to deal with some of this stuff. I mean, it's kind of the only thing I can see because the numbers didn't look too bad. I do feel like they're going to have a little bit of a tough road ahead. I thought it was interesting that the outgoing CEO basically said, look, we're past the COVID stuff. We're now on kind of the easy path. I'm not sure it's an easy path for Expedia with all the AI disruption and the way you can use ChatGPT to plan vacations for you. The fact that you've got a lot of simple search ability on Google and Microsoft to do a lot of these things for you now. I feel like they're going to get run over by the basic search engines.
I know. I've never used one of these things because we grew up in an age with the internet. So I was always taught to go search for hotels and flights myself, not use a third party. But they do have good deals, which I think is how they get a lot of people in. Right. I will say they grew their overall, I believe it's their hotel bookings rose by 18%. That was seen as not good enough because that's their biggest portion of their sales. And I did find that we did see their operational income fell. So that was 1 weak spot because I'm really trying to pick apart these numbers that were fine, just maybe not the levels of growth. I mean, these hotels right now are booking 103% occupancy. So I guess that's just not good enough for these results.
All right, market must be freaked out about CEO plan. All right, let's talk some Pepsi. A little bit more reliable, a little bit more of a true staple. Dipped, but the dip is getting bought right now.
The dip is getting bought right now. I will say Pepsi isn't always the most, or historically the most exciting on its earnings. It doesn't typically move like, say, some of the big tech names we've looked at. But hey, net sales dropped less than 1%. It's the first quarter we've seen since 2020 that the company's quarterly revenue has declined compared with the year ago. Currency exchange rates did also drag on their overall net sales by about 1.5%. But organic revenue, which does exclude acquisition and divestitures, rose 4.5%, aided by these higher prices. But of course, this is also their strength is also their weakness because those prices have then in turn decreased their overall volume. But Pepsi did say that high borrowing costs and lower personal savings have squeezed consumers' budgets, particularly in North America, as they are seeing smaller pack sizes for convenience at these lower price points, and consumers are shopping for any sort of discount. So overall, we did see Quaker Foods report an 8% volume decline. That was expected to decline, though. North America, Frito-Lay also posted a 2% drop in volume. So it seems like their snacking business I mean, we were anticipating this. We looked at this name yesterday. Shouldn't be a huge shock, but I think the fact that they're continuing to lose out on their overall snacking business, not a huge positive. And the fact that they still do mention the ever-shifting consumer preferences, the way consumers are right now really not buying these snack foods. I mean, not in my experience, but I guess the Ozempic trade is one that's maybe more present than I even believed.
I think compared to like the super bearish narrative that Ozempic and all these weight loss drugs were going to like destroy their business overnight, I don't think the numbers show that, but they do have some declines still into the snacks, so not surprised to see it down. Thanks, Jenny.